Hi, I'm Tim. Welcome to Watchbox, and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, tmosso@thewatchbox.com. It's in the description below. It's your purchase and pricing email concierge. For asking questions about this or any Watchbox watch, reach out to me, email me. My email address is tmosso@thewatchbox.com. Launched in 2019 and made in 12 pieces, this is the Louis Moinet Derrick, a petroleum-based automaton. It is part of that rare class of automaton watches, the likes of which rarely appear even on this channel, so you're looking at something truly unusual. A carbon-based dial with a carbon-based theme. This is a watch of large size, 45.4 millimeters in rose gold. It measures 15 millimeters thick and 52.6 millimeters from lug to lug, 24 millimeters between the lugs. We'll throw it on my wrist, which is 16 centimeters in circumference. Are you a Texas oil man? Have you already a Cadillac with cow horns? A big hat? All that? You need this. A watch with an imposing look as big as the state of Texas. I have to say that the watch wears well enough on my wrist, but I wouldn't wear it on a wrist smaller than 16 centimeters circumference because it is large and it is heavy and it is broad. Although there is a nice shape to the lugs, it helps to arc around the edge of the wrist and plant the watch a little bit better. The strap is substantial. Large rectangular scale alligator leather in black. It has a gloss finish, a monotone stitch, a rather thick sheer side, a lot of bolstering to give it thickness, and then it terminates in a Louis Moinet deployant clasp, which you can see features a fleur-de-lis, and then internally the clasp itself is a double fold with trigger release and very secure against accidental deployment. So a big, expensive, and heavy watch properly protected by a full deployant clasp. Jumping back to the case, you can see that we have an unusual lug profile. They're beautiful, evacuated, and sculpted almost like the flying buttresses of a Gothic cathedral. The closest thing I could compare would be the Code 1159 lug profile, though this is maybe a little bit more graceful and arcing than those. You could see the look of a vintage chaton, as you would see on the bridges and plates of old school pocket watches, and those act as the pivot centers for the bars retaining the strap underneath. You can see they are pull tab spring bars, so you can remove them without resort to tools. And then we have gator on both sides of the strap, so small scale on the bottom, large rectangular scale on the top. Gator on both sides is more expensive, but it means the strap will last longer. You can also see that it's a brand new Louis Moinet factory strap, no crimping, no gouging. The case is voluptuous. Sculpted like a bowl, it's rounded from every angle with compound curves. Everything's of high polish. Those lugs truly are special. And then we have this elaborate crown that combines the fleur-de-lis with a blackened base and then a sharp knurling around the edge that makes this broad but narrow crown a pleasure to operate. You can see the bezel comes in two layers. There's the polished base, and then there's this combination of polish and satination for the upper bezel, which is bolted on using polished bolts. The dial is in carbon fiber, and there were two versions of this watch. One was a sort of granular black, carbon colored. This one is carbon pattern. So again, we've got a carbon themed extraction automaton, and then we have this carbon fiber dial that features satination on the borders of the inserts, all held in place by blackened screws. The Derrick itself, driven off the seconds display, you could see that it makes 3 full cycles every minute. We have a tri-spoke that acts as your seconds display down at 6 o'clock. You can see the underlying mechanism, including the escapement in the background. The entirety of the Derrick is satin finished with a little bit of mirror beveling on its edge, and then the pivot points all feature polished centers. It's a good looking movement, and it is slightly loomed. It has a little bit of loom, so if you're familiar with that Movado museum watch minimalist aesthetic, you should be able to tell time in the dark. The movement, which they call the LM-64, is pretty clearly based on a Concepto. As you can see, it features Concepto's signature fine adjustment mechanism and eccentric screw with Edicron fine regulation. So this is a movement that is automatic winding with unidirectional winding action, which is more efficient than bidirectional. It uses ceramic rotor bearings for low maintenance requirements and high efficiency. It does have a 48-hour power reserve. It pivots on 28 joules, and as you can see, it does feature stop or hacking seconds. The finish is good. I would compare it to what you'll see on a rank-and-file Audemars Piguet Royal Oak or Offshore. It's not quite Vacheron and Patek level high horology. There is perceptible machine finish here, but it's very competitive with what you'll see from the likes of Glasuta Original, Audemars Piguet, Jaeger LeCoultre, and Zenith, which is to say very, very good objectively. All of this water resistant down to 30 meters, and you can see more is more at Louis Moinet. So there is a whole lot of decoration and verbiage on the reverse side. It is an entertaining and beguiling thing to wear and enjoy. Reach out to Team Mosso at thewatchbox.com for purchase and pricing details.